Do I need to take the hat off or leave it on?
Take it off.
No, I ain't gonna do that. What's up, everybody? Thank y'all for tuning in to tonight's show. Show number 82. It's the Palmetto Bowl. We got Carolina Clemson this week. As usual, we go to discuss about everything Carolina Clemson wise. And then we got William Quackenbush. He is 105.5 The War in Greenville. And also we have a special guest to the show. He's also a USC, former USC player, Master Belton.
What's going on? What's going on?
And former athlete of mine, I think.
You think?
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
Matthew, what's up, man?
What's up, man?
All right, let's get started. Show number 82.
I do a lot of editing.
that always happens, man. You just got to start with that. What's going on, everybody? Thank y'all for tuning in to tonight's show on our podcast on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Google Play, SoundCloud, and iTunes. On the table today, we have Opie.
What's up?
We have Chris. We have Gary. We got Robbie.
Glad to be back on the Walk-Ons.
And special guest on the table, we have former USC player, Master Belton.
What's going on? What's going on?
And former athletes of mine, Matthew.
What's up with you?
Matthew, what's the last name again?
Anderson.
Dang,
Okay, I don't remember the last name. So sorry. That's why I keep saying the first name.
You don't know nothing.
Used to play R&D, by the way, Richard Northeast. But at least I know that part. Huh? All right. Once again, thank y'all for tuning in to tonight's show. Make sure you follow us on our social media on Facebook and on Twitter at the Walk-Ons Radio, and also find us on our podcast once again on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, SoundCloud, and iHeartRadio. And if you got any comments or questions tonight, make sure you send those in. Tonight we'll talk about a number of stuff. We're going to talk about USC Clemson once
Panthers
again.
Suck.
Huh?
Panthers suck. Go ahead, keep going.
Yeah, relax.
No, we're not going to talk about the Panthers today. All right, we'll leave that alone today. I feel some type of way. My football weekend was not that good. My high school team lost. College team lost.
Get used to
Pro team lost. Who else lost? Canadian
Gamecocks
Football
actually
League
won.
team lost.
I know who won.
Who?
Clemson.
Okay, we ain't gonna talk about that then. Also, a special guest to the show, we have William Quackenbush. He is one of our friends on our show. He'll be talking to us today. And Chris got to shoot around. And at the end of the show, hopefully, once again, we have Coach Fry. That's why I always got to put that hope at the very beginning of it. So for the last 2 weeks, we have not got Coach Fry.
My man, busy, man.
Been traveling, but we'll try work that out today.
He's scared of me.
Really?
Oh, okay. Okay. Hey, Coach Gary said he want to smoke.
Actually, if you don't know, he has something against Serena Williams, so that's why.
Oh, man, what's wrong with Serena?
Where's Tammy and Shannon at right now?
You mean the thin Serena or the big Serena? I'm just saying, but you know,
I'm glad we're not too famous, man. Your
I know,
your IG
man.
have been blowing up.
but that's all right. That's all right. She's going to come back. 2019 is going to be her year.
Nah, she done. She
Nah,
got,
she
she got a
wants- he wants
billionaire for
something
a
nice about
husband. She thought she was chunky.
Now see,
Come
Coach
back.
Fry, that wasn't me, so don't put that one on me.
She gonna come back with the Popeyes deal. She gonna be.
All right, let's get started with the number one topic in Pick Six. Number one, last night, there was a Monday Night Football game, if y'all don't know.
Yes.
One of the best, to me personally, and I know a lot of people saying this too, one of the best Monday Night Football games that, in history, should I say, that I've witnessed, I know for sure. Both teams scored over 100 points total. The Rams came out victorious 54-51. If you looked at that game personally, I know for sure that defense scored touchdowns, offense scored touchdowns. That's a sign of a good football game. I'm not going to say defense not showed up, because they did show up, because they scored points. They made plays in the backfield.
They
did
showed
sacks.
up. They definitely showed
But
up.
that's how, to me, a football game should be played. Defense making plays, offense scoring touchdowns too. And that's why I feel like, and a lot of people say that too, the QBs made their points heard. Mahomes, I think he's still a good QB, even though he made that bad play at the very
That
end.
interception was terrible.
But
I don't know who he was throwing to.
the bad play at the end of the game has been a trend all weekend. You had him with that pass. You had Cam on Sunday.
Say
You
it
had the
again.
kid from Maryland
Say it
against
again.
Ohio State on Saturday.
Say
It's
it
been a
again.
whole thing all weekend long. So
Maryland should have won that game too.
exactly.
Yeah.
Even Tremaine admitted that.
Well,
Tremaine even admitted
I know
Ohio
for
State should not have
Maryland,
won that.
I know for Maryland that.
Tremaine who?
So,
Yeah.
you going to throw shade at Tremaine
Dang,
already?
Tremaine. You're taking
At
shots,
home,
bro.
you usually don't go for two. Yeah, I mean, you usually, kick the extra point. put the pressure back on the other team. So it's a little bit of a surprise, but they felt they had a play that would work, I guess.
Well, I told Chris
It worked.
as soon as they scored that touchdown. I told Chris we'll go for 2. Automatically, I knew it was gonna go for 2. But just like famous Cam is, throw the ball a little bit too high. Like you said, Gary, the guy might be 6 foot, but he throws the ball 6'5". So,
Jump.
There was no Kelvin Benjamin or Devin Funches out
You get paid
there,
to
so
jump.
I'm telling you, he's throwing an 8-foot pass.
yeah, but that's,
Accuracy is not there. It'll never be there.
It's okay.
I can pray.
Gary on his high horse today, boy.
You see how he is?
It's okay.
You see how he is? That's classic Gary.
Bringing strong opinion.
That's classic Gary. Good to have him back on the
Kind
show,
of
by
tough.
the way.
That's tough to tan to.
But we'll see what happens. But at the same time, great game last night, and hopefully, we'll see how it goes down there in the playoffs times. I know one team that will not be in the playoffs is Tampa Bay. Ryan
They out?
Fitzpatrick, they're not officially out, but they will be out. They like dead last in the NFC South.
They're in a tough division too.
They're in a very tough
Uh,
division.
Saints, Panthers, and Falcons. So
So who?
Saints, Panthers, and
No,
Falcons.
that last team.
Saints,
No,
Panthers.
the very last team.
Oh, Tampa Bay.
You're right. No.
No.
Falcons.
He heard what I said.
Listen, Saints
I
going
like
to
the
Super Bowl.
Falcons too much.
4-6.
Saints going to the Super Bowl.
You think so?
Unless
Yep.
Drew Brees get hurt, Saints are going to the Super Bowl.
One team that I do fear of is the Saints. But at the same time, they do have to go through that division.
How bad they beat y'all?
We lost by a touchdown that game, right?
I don't know. I'm asking.
We lost by a touchdown. It was very competitive. I know that for a fact.
Y'all always competitive to Cam do something.
Well, throw the ball 6'5", 6'10".
Y'all gonna relax on Cam right now. Y'all gonna relax.
But
We tighter than Cam than his. These comments tighter than his Cam shirt.
Bruh.
I like the suits, by the way, though. It'll be all right, even though I can't fit it. But back to Tampa Bay. Ryan Fitzpatrick is benched. Jameis Winston will be starting for Tampa Bay.
Jameis interception. Winston.
The last 2 games, not Jameis. Ryan Fitzpatrick is throwing 5 interceptions, no touchdowns.
But now they say he was better than Jameis. That's what they said.
Not too long ago, wearing different suits, sunglasses to the press conference. But now they just bench him like
This is the 4th change, though. They start off with Fitzpatrick because Jameis was suspended. They came back with Jameis for a couple games. Then they came back to Fitzpatrick. Now they're back to Jameis. So maybe they'll get rid of both of them at the
his
end of the
nickname was Fitz Magic.
Yeah, Shannon Sharp always say the only time you get disappointed is you have an expectation. And it seems like whenever they expect Fitzpatrick to play well, that's when he disappoints.
He give you 2 or 3 good games here and there, and then it goes downhill.
I think they rely on him too much. I'm just gonna be honest with you.
I think you should just leave Jameis in there for the rest of the season because, okay, next year, either he's going to be there for you
He
or
not.
you're going to get rid of him. Here's an audition for the next 6 games or what have you. And if he's not going to show what he can do, move on to someone else. Get you someone in the draft.
Him, Fitzpatrick, and the coach need to all be gone at the end of the season.
And this is a bad year for the quarterbacks in the draft too, so I don't know what they're gonna do.
I do know that for Tampa Bay, they don't need more than just a QB. They got pretty good big receivers, but at the same time, they need more pieces to make that thing happen. And with those 2 guys, Jameis and Ryan Fitzpatrick, even though I thought Fitzpatrick was going to be the golden child for them, he's 35 years old.
Yeah.
So he's getting up there close to retirement. So it's almost time to find somebody new. They thought that with Jameis is too busy messing with people with Uber and stealing
Allegedly.
Allegedly. Allegedly. Not yet convicted of it, by the way. But
he has agreed to a settlement, so he basically admitted to
yeah.
having some role in that. But he did say that he was intoxicated, so he couldn't
Intoxicated.
Which is
remember
exactly,
all the details.
Yeah.
That's exactly what you want to hear from your starting quarterback too.
It's just a little foggy, coach. Just a little.
Next on the docket, this is not on the list, but the Cleveland Browns.
The who?
Cleveland Browns.
Oh, that just started to show off.
Cleveland. On Sunday, I saw this message. Chris showed me this while I was at church, and I could not believe my eyes. I thought it was something like a hoax or some type of prank or something. Somebody took over ESPN
Why
or
aren't you
something.
focusing on church in church?
So what happened?
What happened was,
We're 2 of the AV producers, so we have the people working. Everything's running like it's supposed to.
Nah.
I got this alert, and I was like,
No, you didn't.
yeah, that's exactly how.
well, if y'all did not know, Condoleezza Rice, former Secretary of State for George Bush back in her days, was one that was rumored to be interviewed for the head coaching job for the Cleveland Browns.
I've seen that. Yeah, I did see that. I don't know how that's gonna work out.
First of all,
It's the Cleveland Browns.
I know she's good with sports. She's on the front office for the college football playoffs. She's on the Masters
I know
committee.
that.
Yeah.
I did not see head coaching her at all.
Yeah, why not a general manager or assistant general
see that.
manager,
Has she
player
played?
scout?
I can see that.
You know.
Has she played?
No, that ain't got nothing to do with it.
I mean, you don't have to
coaching
play. I
experience.
think
You don't.
What I'm saying is
You
okay.
don't hire somebody with no coaching experience.
You understand? Like, what kind of real world experience does she have for this position?
I don't think
Look at
that
all
you
the-
have to play football. You gotta have knowledge of the game. I'm pretty sure there'll be a female coach soon.
Well, I don't see it,
Yes,
but
coming.
I mean, front office experience, how to run an organization.
I think she could do
different.
I think
That's
she
different.
could do
Yeah.
that.
Front office,
but
yeah, I'm all for that. But I'm like,
The
the
thing
head
is-
coach of an NFL team.
How many?
I
how
don't
many
think you can just
former
bring
players
someone
that
in
played
there
in the NBA are
without
coaching.
some experience.
Was that?
How many former NBA players are coaching, head coaches?
We got a few in there right now.
A few. So it's not in the cards for people that play to really coach.
Most of them have at least, even at a junior level in high school, middle school, still played something.
Not really. They just get their start because they.
But
know
if
somebody.
you go down the route
But they still
of
started coaching somewhere. You don't start in the NFL as a head coach. That's
But
not how this
no.
works.
That's baby steps before
Levels.
the head
It's-
I'm
coach.
just saying.
we in the world of
NFL.
we in the world of marketability right now.
But it
so
is
if you're
good.
marketable, you can get the job.
As SK said, I've changed the brake light. That doesn't qualify me as a mechanic.
Yes.
But if
now
you
nowadays
go
it
down
is.
the route of having a female coach down the road, I know she's not gonna play college football.
Mine ain't about
Unless
a
she was
female.
a kicker back in the times when those females just kicked the football, and that happens. But at the same time, I don't see if there's gonna be a female coach down the road, she will have experience of playing the game itself.
Female aside, like
He just
not
talking
even
about
without
playing.
the plane, just even outside of
I mean,
playing.
coaching. I'm sorry.
Coaching.
Yeah, just coaching.
You have nothing. You don't get to start at the NFL.
Yeah, you
Head
can.
coach
Head
too.
coach, yeah.
Yeah, like
Of the Cleveland Browns, who
they
have
didn't even
failed
say
as
she's
their
gonna
head
be
coach.
an offensive assistant, head coach of the Cleveland Browns.
That's
Are you
right.
serious
That's
right
right.
now?
That's
Straight
what
to the
women
point.
doing in 2K18.
I mean, shout out to the women. That's not an issue about her being women. Just
I think it'd be dope to have women, but I don't see
Yeah,
Condoleezza Rice.
yeah. What
being
have you done
head
for me
coach.
lately?
Well, somebody put on Facebook comments, air raid defense.
Who?
Air raid. Not on Facebook comments, but I saw.
Oh, okay. I'm like,
about to say,
I'm
huh?
keep it up with the comments.
I missed
air
that one.
raid defense. But yeah, that's what I saw. I cannot believe my eyes, but that's how it is nowadays. 2018. You never know what's going to happen. You get stuff on your phone and you be shocked, right? Next on the list, we're going to skip two of them because I think it doesn't matter really because we should know what they're going to do. There's a high school team that lost 53 straight games, and they losing so bad, guys.
What's the name?
I feel pull up right now. I think the team's in Arkansas, I believe. And
Oh, I thought it was here.
no, they're
I
not
thought
here.
so too. I was hoping so.
I think it's Richland Northeast.
Ooh.
Wow.
Shots
Who said
fired.
that?
Shots fired.
Who said that?
I mean,
No, I'm not gonna talk. No, I'm not gonna say that for R&E.
I mean, you don't have to say that,
Nah,
but everybody else is still watching these.
I'm not gonna
just
say
saying.
a word.
We just got approved for our stadium. So once we get that stadium going, we're gonna put
Yeah,
two
young
and two
team with
together.
hope for the future, right?
Yeah, exactly.
The name of the school actually is a college. Excuse me, it's not a high school
college?
team. Earlham College in Indiana. It's a D3 college football team.
Wow.
After losing 53 straight games, they will cancel their 2019 schedule to focus on bettering the program.
Division III means no scholarship, so it's got to be tough for those young men to get beat up and then not get any scholarship money at the end of the day. So
Yeah, they
you
plan to bring.
that's a double motivation issue. Not only are you losing on the field, you're not getting your classes paid for or anything. You having to come out of your own pocket for that as well.
53 games, that's 5 seasons straight, right?
Pretty much, their last win was in 2013 versus Anderson College. Is that here? Anderson
We got
College.
Anderson University. I don't know college.
They won in 2013, and their worst loss in their 53 game losing streak was 83-14.
Cancel the program.
That ain't
See,
bad.
that's nothing. In
That
high
ain't bad.
school, we went
Cancel.
2-38, but now my high school is dominating right now. Now we
Well,
made
that's
the
back in your
playoffs
time,
and lost this year, but back in my time,
Back in
4
your
years
time.
of high school, 2-38.
Showed up.
No fault of mine now. No fault of mine.
That's back in Gary era.
Make a conversation for myself.
When we come back, we'll talk Carolina Clemson, so stay tuned right here on the Walk-Ons, everybody.
Boo, Carolina.
Let's go, Carolina.
Boo. Well, I'm so full.
Huh? After this topic here.
I'm so full.
Where you had to eat?
Churches. No, what I had to eat?
I
Taco
was like, yeah,
Bell.
Jersey. That's why you fool.
Taco Bell. I had double chalupa box. They didn't have no tomatoes or no cinnamon twist. and they talking about what I can have. I said, how you run out of something gonna tell me what? I don't want that.
I remember what one talk about. They ran out of beef, and they ran out of tomatoes, and they ran out of Mountain Dew Blast, whatever it's called.
I was at KFC and they ran out of chicken. I said, now how in the
Come on now.
Wow. Yeah,
Oh, you gonna try that new chicken and waffles?
Nope.
Nah, I stick to Kiki's.
I stick to Kiki's chicken.
I was
waffles.
tempted to see how I should have brought it on here just to test to see how it is live on the show.
We can do. Hey,
Dan, you wanna go by KFC and give me a chicken and waffles?
Why you trying to play you like that, dude?
I just wanna see how it tastes.
Ooh. That's what she said.
pause.
That's why I said chicken waffles taste. I didn't say nothing about those. That's Opie talking.
Nah, bruh.
Now you gonna try to blame me.
See, you the one that said it.
Nah, that was all you, bruh. I'm gonna let you hold that L, bruh.
You see how I do Go Red Belton? This on a daily basis.
Oh man.
Every Tuesday. This how
Welcome back.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. Follow us on social media on Facebook and on Twitter at the Walk-Ons Radio. And we're also on Instagram, by the way. So make sure to check us out on that. Yeah, we're on there.
Okay.
Make sure you find us on our podcast on iHeartRadio, iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, and SoundCloud, and iHeartRadio. And if you got any questions or comments throughout the show, make sure you send those in on our Facebook comments. Right now, we're monitoring those. So if you got any comments about Carolina Clemson, make sure you send those in. I was honored to go to the South Carolina Media Days for South Carolina High School basketball. Mm-hmm. And if you are able to, go ahead and go to our Twitter page at twitter.com/the Walk-Ons Radio. You'll see all kind of interviews we had with different players. We interviewed Tommy Bruner from Great Collegiate, Norman Noel from R&E, and among other teams and players. So make sure you go ahead and check those out. It's on our Twitter page. And, I feel pretty good about some of the teams that we interviewed. A lot of enthusiasm this upcoming year for them. Mm-hmm. So I know one team in particular, Westwood, the female team. They are looking forward to getting back to the playoffs and getting past the semis and going to the finals, hopefully.
No.
We getting past the what?
they lost in the semis last year.
The semis.
Semis. That's how you say it?
You know your cousin.
Semis?
Semis.
Oh, I never said that for a while.
Semifinals or semifinals.
I never said semis ever.
I ain't know what you was talking about.
Why you say semi or semi?
Semi.
Okay. So who cut the volume up? Just to hear that again. You cut the volume up, Belton?
No, it wasn't me.
You, Matthew?
Wasn't I?
Yeah, that's you.
Somebody is. I don't want to hear myself say that again. But anyway, I think it's just check out the videos on Twitter and check out all the players and teams we interviewed. It was quite fun on this past Monday. So let's get started with the Carolina Clemson rivalry that's coming up on Saturday.
Real quick, I ain't gonna say that about that slacking Don too.
I'm pretty sure Coach Fry would chime in on that. I want to hear what his comments is on that.
I got you back, Don.
There's nothing wrong with the team. They're in the rebuilding year, getting teams focused on. Yeah. They possibly would get the number one athlete in the nation.
You seen that game? You was there, right?
I was.
So you was live in the moment.
I got you back,
and you saw that.
They went down early, and they can never get out the hole from there.
They all right.
They'd be all right. They got to play Baylor on the year so they can avenge against another top team. We're going to revisit
this. Just remember what you said today.
Ain't that right, Gary?
Revisit this.
I'm with you on that.
They can avenge from that loss from last week. Not last week. On Monday.
That's how you know
Sunday.
It's bad. They kept cutting the camera back to Asia every 2 minutes. That's how bad.
Because she was dancing. That's why.
I don't care.
It's a whole new system this year. Okay, I mean, you lost the best player in the country, and now they're going from more of an inside game to a three guard offense. So you got to give them some time to work out those kinks.
We're gonna revisit this.
We shall see. I know Coach Fry will have a lot to say if he picks up the phone. By the way, I know he's probably watching too. Hey, Carolina Clemson. This coming Saturday, we have the nation's number 2 team versus our team here. Yep. And we're looking forward to see what they can do up there in Death Valley. Jake Billy. He's scoring points now.
Started, we're not finna bash the Gamecocks for the whole 30 minutes. I just want to let you know.
Well, welcome to the Walk-Ons.
We got to be honest.
You definitely knew here.
We got to be honest. They're a 28-point underdog for a reason. Now, we got to be honest. You know?
Yeah, you're right. But here's the one thing about rivalry games. You have to realize these boys know each other.
This ain't even a route. This is going to be a route.
Come on now. It's the Palmetto Bowl.
Route.
This is the Palmetto
I will
Bowl.
say, though, that
it has been kind of one-sided the last 3 years anyway.
4.
about to be 5. Hopefully. We'll see what happens.
I forgot you're a Clemson guy, right?
Used to be a Clemson guy. I go to USC. It's a long story.
See, my cousin Josh, he was once a Clemson fan. He had the jersey and everything. Now he's full diehard Gamecock fan now.
It's crazy.
Not one Clemson blood in his body. I'm glad for that.
You sure about full diehard?
Yeah.
He is not a fan of Jay Bentley.
Well, everybody's going to criticize.
All right, yeah, let's talk about that. South Carolina's offense versus Clemson's defense. That NFL front line defense. Jake Bentley has had 2 starts. He's 0 points in his in the first halves of each of the last 2 years that he started against the Clemson D line. What's going to make this year different?
Nothing.
Well, if you look at the last 2 games Clemson played, Duke was able to.
What? I mean, look, that boy gonna be back there like Kevin Hart.
The Power Rangers are coming,
I would
bro.
tell you one thing that's going to be
wasn't ready.
different
I wasn't
is
ready.
We got rid of Kurt Roper. Which should have been done
I ain't heard that name in a minute.
And
You remember
I
bad
think-
Gary reached back for that one.
I think the offense has picked up with Brian McClendon. They're
Definitely.
moving the ball. Their wide receivers, Smith,
Man,
Okay,
Brian
Dave, any
Edwards,
given Saturday?
Debo.
Y'all
I
ain't
think
answering
those
the
receivers
question.
can play with anybody in the country.
That's not what
The,
Robbie
the question
asked.
is,
You still
got to
give him time
this year.
Yeah,
No,
you still got to
he
give him
said, what are
time
they gonna
to
do
throw the ball.
with that front, the NFL front 4 that Clemson. That's what he asked.
That does
When
worry me,
Christian
though, 'cause
Wilkins comes up and Jay Bentley sees him coming at him, and he can't go anywhere.
I'm pretty sure Muschamp has some trick plays under his sleeve to make sure that Jay Bentley won't get pummeled like the last 2 teams that Clemson has faced. BC and Duke.
This
That
is
Duke
nothing.
quarterback
The Gamecocks are not BC.
Now I will say this, Wabi. Now for the last 2 games, which I have been paying attention to, I pay attention closely to what Trevor Lawrence does, and I pay attention closely to what has happened in those 2 games.
Right.
BC and Duke does not have a strong enough offense like what Carolina has. Let's go ahead and put point blank out there right now.
But they have much better defenses.
All right, let's look at the stats. Let's look at the stats. Carolina's putting up points these days.
They are putting on points,
And
and
we put up 43 on Ole Miss.
they put 49. I know it's Chattanooga, but whatever. About
48.
I'm
Chattanooga.
gonna say you really about to bring Chattanooga.
31 on Florida,
Okay.
and the list goes on. We're scoring more points than we did last year.
The
Now,
momentum is building. and we
I
have
ain't worried
playmakers
about
around
I
Jake
ain't
Bentley.
worried about the secondary for Carolina because secondary
Are y'all
is weak.
serious?
Dave says Clemson's secondary is unchallenged. Carolina has the best wide receiver group they face.
You have to have
I would
time.
say
What
Trayvon-
happened last night when the boy got people in his face? He throwing he throwing alley oops.
Yeah, I
In
mean,
the
it's a
football.
whole
You're
different
right.
ball game. And if he's not going to have time to sit
You're a
in the
different
pocket
person
and
when you
survey
try
the
to make
field,
a
pick out that
in
second,
1
third,
second.
fourth receiver.
Listen, that front 4 is vicious.
The
Okay.
front 4 is
And I go question Clemson's front 4. I think it's one of the best front 4s in ACC history. And I'm pretty sure all them will be in the top 15 as in the NFL draft. All I gotta say is there's a
ACC
strategy.
history. Come on.
Yeah. I have to
History.
say their D line is probably one of the best in Clemson history. I know for sure, and I probably have to say in the
Okay,
ACC.
Marcus, they are going down. Clemson is going down.
I give him props to Clemson.
This is the same guy that predicted Carolina to be 12-0. So we were going to listen to it now. He picked Carolina to win last year.
I'm a realist.
All of a sudden, we're going to
If y'all
listen
had
to
a better
Gary
offensive
of all
line,
his
maybe
bad
Y'all do
predictions
got
he's
the best-
made
y'all
throughout
got
the
a good
years.
wide receiver core,
Hey.
but y'all don't run the ball well, and you don't have a good offensive line. That just smells. Pin your ears back and just whatever happened.
the last
We
5
can run the
games.
ball.
The last
We can run
5
the
games with Carolina.
Stick to basketball, Opie.
The last 5 games for Carolina.
That's why y'all finna get blanked. Now I'm gonna be nasty.
23, 27, 48,
Y'all ain't got
31,
a shot.
49.
So Dave's talking about Carolina got a lot of 5 wide packages, so they're not gonna put Jake back there on 7-step drops.
Look,
I
if
wouldn't
we
put
can
Jake
at
back
least
on 5-step
protect
drop.
him, it'll be all right.
That's the problem. Can you protect him?
That's the
Listen.
only issue they have.
Brent
They all-
Venables likes to mix up the blitzes and whatnot too. So it'd be
You don't have to.
Thank you for saying that, Matt.
You don't have
Yeah.
to
Because-
with 4 people rushing. You could just send 4 people and everybody.
See, me personally, I don't like that. I think if you go and play against a team like that, Trevor Lawrence already looks one way.
No, I'm talking
and
about
he throws the
Clemson.
ball.
I don't know.
For
South
in order to get
Venables,
into-
he'll send 4 people, but it might be a corner or a linebacker coming, and
Yeah, they
he
do a lot
might
of
drop a
stunts.
defensive end. So you don't know where the 4 are coming from.
But they have players to do that. They have a started up
They
D
have
line to
athletes.
just send for. For Carolina, you could do 4, but they're not that strong to get to the backfield like that. What game that was? Florida, when Felipe took like at least 10 seconds just to throw the ball,
Yeah.
and nobody could get to him.
Yeah.
At least send a linebacker or something. That's my only issue I have with the defense right now, because we do not send blitzes just to pressure the QB. And if we can at least send 1 or 2 or outside back or something, whoa.
And then you got
Who is
Bryant.
Lamont Graham? He got Carolina 31, Clemson 17, bruh.
All right, Lamont, you're my guy.
You gotta chill, bruh.
He sees something that we don't.
Listen, my thing is this:
if you
say
are a
that-
28-point underdog, then you got to throw everything that's in your playbook. I want to see double reverses, halfback passes. I want to see it
Sub
all.
the coach in the
Pull
game.
it off.
Fumble.
I want to see those slow developing plays in the backfield like a double reverse also. Yeah.
Lamont knows
I look
something.
forward to seeing that.
31-17. Like if you said Carolina, you got Carolina winning by 1 touchdown. All right, I'll entertain it.
We'll see.
31-17, bro.
Well, we'll see what Quackerbush says about this. So stay tuned right here, guys. But there's a chance, guys, that Carolina can make something happen. They just got to play good defensively.
I think
If
they
they
gotta
can do that and stay strong in the secondary, something can happen. You got to play smart.
Let me
Dave
tell you
says
something
they don't
from
run
experience. Anybody who knows it's in-state rivalry is more than just skill.
Thank you. No matter what you did this
Carolina
season.
has enough explosive players to make something shake. Y'all need to understand that.
This ain't
Don't
Virginia
be
Tech, Virginia.
surprised.
You need an
Don't be
offensive-
surprised.
I'm not saying they don't. I'm just
offensive
saying
line.
who
Hey,
they're
William.
going against.
This is a
understand that.
senior-laden, more
This-
talented.
This was about to
Clemson
happen.
team.
Like my man told me when Bamberg was playing great and nobody wanted to hear it. He said, "Man, look, this was going to happen all game.
Oh, ain't nothing but country boys over there in Bamberg.
Them 4 guys
That's
are
where
finna do this
Crosby from.
for 4 quarters. They've got 4 guys doing this.
Pounding.
Get ready. Sooner or later,
They know what's
the
up.
offensive line
They lost 4
gonna
years in a
give,
row. That's for a reason.
and it's a wrap. It's gonna be a
Jeremy,
fumble.
what up, bro?
It's gonna be an interception.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. Once again, this is Palmetto Bowl 2018 preview. I cannot talk today. I don't know why. I just not getting over cold. I'm sorry, guys. I know. And Wabi is too, so don't look at me.
Jesus.
But welcome back to the show. Make sure you follow us on our social media at the Walk-Ons Radio on Facebook and on Twitter. Follow us on our podcast on iHeartRadio, Spotify, SoundCloud, Google Play, and iTunes. And also, if you got any comments or questions throughout the night, make sure you send those in on our Facebook Live. Right now, we have plenty of people commenting. Also, we got a score prediction. Wait, what was it again, Christopher?
31-17.
Who was that again?
Lamont Graham.
What's up, Lamont?
Write that down. Lamont Graham. If he gets the score right, I'll personally send him $10.
I wonder how much you was about to say.
You heard it here first.
You heard it here first. We're gonna do predictions at the end of the show tonight, so make sure you stay tuned for that. Also on our show right now, we have Mr. William Quackenbush of 105.5 The War. William, how you feeling, man?
I'm doing great, guys. Hope you guys are doing well this week.
Well, okay. Well, this past weekend was not that great, but we'll talk about that later. So recently, William, I heard that you got engaged, so congratulations on your engagement.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Ladies, if you
It's been a weird few weeks. I'll tell you that.
ladies, if you well, I'm sure it's weird if you had a lot of ladies after you. He's off the market now, ladies. I've been in those
That's
situations
right. It's a
before.
rough day for a lot of them. I know. Yeah.
That's a good one.
But congratulations on that, man.
All right, William, let's
thank
jump
you. I
into it.
appreciate that.
Give us a Hunter Renfro.
All
This is Robbie, by the way. Just give us a Hunter Renfro update.
Well, Robbie, I wish I could give you a really good one. Like the answers are weird.
Not bad.
It's almost like, what are you guys talking about? Whenever anybody asks, it's like, yeah, he's fine. You know, with no. I mean, Jeff Scott gave it on Monday. Dabo gave it last night, and then he gave it again today. Oh, he's fine. He'll be fine. But like, no, you know, what does that mean? Does that mean, you know, he's in the protocol? Does that mean he was fine on Saturday? Does it mean he got cleared Sunday? We have no idea.
All right.
All we know is, according to the coaches, he's fine. So I guess that means he's going to play, and there's nothing that's going to keep him out this weekend.
We'll find out for sure Saturday, I guess. All right. And
I guess so, yeah.
yeah, William, the receivers, uncharacteristically, they had 9 drops last week. And, you know, they've been having pretty good seasons. Darian Kendrick dropped looked like a sure touchdown, but a lot of, you know, first downs. They could have really racked up some more points and yards last week if not for those drops. What's your opinion on those drops last week? How do you account for that?
I did get, and this is kind of a weird way to talk about this, but I did get some word from somebody down on the sideline that the footballs were cold and slick last week. And so that might have been a reason for maybe some of the drops. That it just seemed a little bit odd that the balls were cold and slick last week for whatever reason. This is not meant as a slight in any way, but it kind of looked like the South Carolina receiving core out there, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if
Whoa, no. You're not gonna just go roll past that. Like we ain't paying attention to that.
Just took that shot.
Just because.
Don't South Carolina's receivers have problems catching the ball?
We had a bad week. We had a bad week.
Just because you had one bad week doesn't mean that we had problems catching the ball.
I think it's been a season long.
I think so too, but
Edwards
I ain't saying that.
has
I'm
had
to
a
see
bunch
the
of
game.
drops. I know that.
I know Debo needs to get the ball more. A lot of people are focused on Debo Samuels because he's one of our biggest playmakers on there, but I don't think we have no problem.
Y'all got a problem. Unless y'all find Deion Sanders, Bo Jackson, Julius Peppers, and Barry Sanders, y'all in trouble.
So what was that game? We had a lot of drop balls. Was that Florida?
Every game.
No, not every game. No, every game.
It was 2 weeks.
No.
In a row.
I mean, the Georgia game, the Florida game. Actually, I will say this: South Carolina is an improving team. But I did say before the year, that South Carolina's receivers would be better than Clemson's receivers, and I don't think that's been the case. I've been kind of surprised at Clemson's receivers how consistent they've been last week, notwithstanding. And I've been disappointed by South Carolina's receivers with Brian Edwards and Debo Samuel and Ortre and Josh Smith. Like I really had a lot of high expectations for the group, and I feel like if it's not the receivers, it's been Bentley that's been inconsistent. And so, like, I really expected South Carolina's offense to take off this year, and because it hasn't, I mean, when you look at the matchup this weekend, I'm not sure how you can be any more optimistic than you were last year or 2 years ago about the trajectory of this game. You know what I'm saying?
No.
I agree. And Trevor's been playing well, William, and talk about his play this year. Only 4 interceptions, where he's taking pretty good care of the ball and hitting a lot of plays downfield. And the receivers didn't help him out as much last week, or it'd have been another huge day last week.
Yeah, one thing he did last week is he obviously was a little bit better on the deep ball. The short and intermediate throws, he's a significant upgrade from what they had with Kelly Bryant this time last year or earlier in the season. But on the downfield, downfield throws, I've been critical of that because he was not allowing guys to go up and make plays. He was overthrowing receivers. He threw a pick against Boston College because he was facing too high coverage, and he overthrew a receiver. If he underthrows the receiver, throws it his back shoulder or to the inside, he's got a catch for like a 30-yard gain. Instead, he threw it way over his head right to a safety. And last week, he didn't do any of that. He was on the money with deep throws and back shoulder. So if I'm South Carolina, you got to hope that old Trevor Lawrence comes back when you're in, too high coverage or something, and he throws a couple picks. Otherwise, he's really not been throwing the ball to the other team. He's been pretty good at taking care of it. And if he adds that deep throw element, to me, he's just as good as Tua Tagovailoa. The thing that's separating Tua and Trevor right now is the consistency on the deep ball. So, I mean, if Trevor Lawrence is throwing those a complete nose, I think South Carolina's going to have a problem.
All right, Qualk, let's switch over to defense. The defense has been playing exceptional, I think, since the Syracuse game, and really the second half of the Syracuse game. They gave up the little 10-yard touchdown after the fumble punt, but just talk about how you think you see this Clemson versus Carolina matchup with the Clemson defensive line not giving Bentley much time the last couple of years. You see something pretty similar developing on Saturday.
Yeah, I think South Carolina's offense, a little bit better than they've been the last couple of years because they're able to run it a little bit better. But the problem is nobody runs it on Clemson. I think the one team that ran it was Wake Forest, and they piled up a bunch of yards against the coaches' families when they went in. That's kind of been the issue, that teams are not able to establish the run early in games. I mean, even Duke, I thought Duke, their game plan was incredible for about the first quarter and a half. The way they were dialing it up, and then you look up and they got, they still got 30 yards to go to the end zone. You're like, wow, what a drive. And then they've got 50 yards. They still got 30 yards to go to the end zone. They settle for a field goal. And so I think that's what Clemson's defense gives me.
The offensive line sucks.
I'm going to wait
Let's not making excuses for them.
We'll have two statements here. We'll have two statements here.
We'll have two. They still suck. They're going to get blown out.
We'll have wide defense and Clemson questions. We'll come back for these USC questions in a minute.
I'll tell you somebody that's underrated in the Clemson defensive backfield is Trayvon Mullen. He's the DB. I think he usually follows the best receiver. Mm-hmm. But anyway, I think he's a potential first or second round draft pick if he comes out this year. Yeah.
They've been shy about throwing his way a lot, and he's been just blanketing that side of the field, not getting many balls his way.
Yeah, there's a 5-star corner coming out of high school. I think he came out of Florida, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
He committed on ESPN. He's kind of lived up to the hype.
Yeah, it may have been Kansas.
Mullen, let me tell you something. Mullen is a game changer. I don't know. I assume he's going to be guarding Edwards. That matchup, NFL scouts at the game are going to love that matchup because that's mano-a-mano right there. I can't wait to see a ball in the air where they have to fight for it because Mullen has kind of been, he's kind of in a black hole because, when the ball goes there, it gets lost. He's not giving up a lot of catches, and when he is, he's giving them up in front of him where he can make the tackle for minimal gains. You don't see him slipping tackles. You don't see him getting beat down the field. To me, he's very quietly become what Mackenzie Alexander was for Clemson, which is basically, he's created an island for himself on one side of the field.
And you saw Mackenzie playing with the Vikings, right?
Vikings, yep.
Yeah, he was playing with the Vikings.
Oh, yeah.
Good job out there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. He's been real good. He's in their nickel spot, and I think he fits real well that role, how teams want to play in the NFL now.
All right, Qualk, do you think we could see the fridge package or some curtain calls late in the game on Saturday?
Maybe. I kind of see this as a game where, look, I'll be honest with you. I think the 5 bombs and all that stuff, I think the coaches really did take that personally. They kind of slept it off this week, but I think they're going to try to make it hurt early, and I think the goal would be to give some curtain calls and see a little fridge package in the game because the score allows it to be that way.
All right, well, hang tight right quick. We'll bring you back after this commercial break for about 1 or 2 more questions till we let you go. All right, man?
All right, sounds good.
Stay tuned, everybody. This is total bias. I try to hold my tongue the whole time. Hold my tongue, guys. Lord, I can't wait till the commercial break is done. Time is ticking. Man.
Yeah, we did.
For this interrogation,
I'm prepared.
Gotcha.
Let's do it.
I want to know how people are gonna get open on 3-step drops if they can't see nothing. I'm still trying to figure this out. Oh, they gonna get open. How they gonna get open? You can't even clear your route if you got somebody in your face.
Bentley was the quarterback your senior year.
True. Yeah, Bentley was my quarterback.
Huh?
Nobody throws the deep ball.
I want a smart guy. I want a smart guy to answer that one for me.
What you need to know?
Your offense not gonna give your quarterback enough time to get the routes to develop.
Hey, we'll find out on Saturday.
Mm-hmm. You don't have to go to 3-step drops. You don't have to do the.
But you can run zone on that. You can sit down. You ain't want to hear the truth.
Hey, Matt, if you was offensive coordinator, what would you have game plan for this week?
For this week,
White flags.
Obviously, the interior line is very aggressive and they get the job done. So we need to work around that. You know what I mean? Play action passes, use the aggressiveness against them. Screen passes,
yeah.
Stuff like that. And we got playmakers, believe it or not. Brian Edwards can go with the best of them. This Mullins boy ain't true.
How many screens and draws you gonna do?
Hey, look, all you need is enough. All you need is enough to slow them down.
I mean, but after a while, you catch on.
All you need is enough to slow them down. Then they're regular.
Hey, welcome back to the show, everybody. Once again, y'all know the deal.
I want to see it.
Follow the social media on Facebook and Twitter, Walk-Ons Radio, and our podcast at the Walk-Ons Radio. Also, on the phone we have William Quackenbush, 105.5 The War, and we were just talking about the Carolina Clemson game coming up on Saturday. William, let me ask you this question now. I know offensively we've been getting better. We're scoring points. We've been scoring above 20 points over the last 5 games.
Yes, boo-boo state.
Defensively, we have not been that strong. And looking at Clemson's last 5 games, I see 6, 7, 16, 10, and 7. So, of course, defensively, Clemson is stout. Now, has these teams compared to Carolina's offense, like they've been playing them tough? I know BC has, I know Duke has, but they did not have that offensive power to actually compete on the other side of the ball to make it at least a game early on and throughout the third quarter and so forth. Do you see anything in that nature where South Carolina can at least be better than what they faced the last 2 games?
I got some good news and bad news. The good news is I think the teams that have given Clemson problem over the years have played fast. And I'm on record early in the season as saying I did not believe that Will Muschamp and Brian McClendon would actually go fast. I thought it was all talk. I thought it would, eventually Will Muschamp would stop going fast and he'd go back to what he knew, which was kind of play field position, punt the ball, be more of a defensive-minded program. They're top 20 in the country in adjusted pace, so the pace favors South Carolina, I think. But on the other hand, that also means if you can't get first downs, which South Carolina's been doing a decent job of lately, If you can't get first downs, that means your defense is back out on the field. Also, two stats I saw today that really that did not look good for South Carolina. One is the rushing numbers. South Carolina barely inside the top 100 in rush defense. And then there's something like 117th in first downs allowed on defense. Those are not good things. Clemson.
All right. We get the picture.
Look, you was doing good till you said that.
We get the picture, but here's a question for you.
Okay.
Now you're gonna call it an upset, but what would it take for Carolina to win this game? And I don't want to hear Clemson not show up. But what will it take for Carolina to pull off this upset? Upset this
they
weekend.
The stadium.
It would take Clemson turning it over like 4 or 5 times. It would take what happened against Pittsburgh a couple years ago, where Clemson turned it over 3 times inside the 5, and 2 of those were passes in the end zone. Basically, South Carolina's red zone defense is going to have to be really good. And then the other way you could do it is on a punt return, because Clemson's punt game was strong last week. That's about the first time all year it's been strong. Clemson has really struggled to punt the ball and flip the field. If Clemson can flip the field like it did last week and take away Deebo Samuel as a weapon, then I think that takes away a huge advantage for South Carolina in the punt return game. But if Deebo can get a touchdown, look, BC got one a couple weeks ago. Kind of a weird play, but it counts nonetheless for 7. South Carolina is a little better than Boston College offensively to be able to capitalize on the momentum of a big return. So I think it'll take a combination of special teams, a bunch of turnovers, and then you got to hope that it'd be the game of Jake Bentley's life. In every big game he's ever played, he has choked. And, I mean, he cannot choke in this game. He has got to be 4 touchdowns, it around. Honestly, he's got to be what Scarnecchia was against Missouri, which I said after the game I thought Scarnecchia should have kept playing, but that's neither here nor there now.
No, you're not the only one that thought that.
I don't trust Bentley. I don't trust him in a game like this. I'd rather have Scarnecchia freak everybody out.
There is a trend I've noticed of teams that have success against Clemson that usually start fast. So if USC can get some pitch and catch going, like Matthew was saying, some screens or something like that early, because that's what Duke did last week, and they came out with a really good game plan. It just didn't last the whole entire time. So maybe, and a big problem that a lot of teams have when playing against Clemson is they get field goals. You need touchdowns. You need touchdowns early. You have a shot.
That's my point.
Yep. That's Duke. Duke had an 83-yard drive last week.
And
it was like 13 plays, field goal. And it's a loss when you do that, because then Clemson's offense comes on the field and ends up figuring it out. And then the defense got tighter and tighter as the game went on.
Yeah, I think that's the key. Just like I said, the last 5 games, these offenses that they have faced has not been that strong to put points on the board. That's why Clemson still be in the game, because they be throwing interceptions or making turnovers for them to stay lingering around. I just think with the offense that Carolina has over the last few games, now we can actually do something. As long as defensively we can at least do some kind of schemes where we can throw Trevor off. Now, I'm a defensive guy. All right, so I know what Trevor is doing.
Yeah, he
looks one way and he throws the ball that way. If you get him to look around, he panics.
Yeah, he does.
I noticed that. For the last. I know that against Duke. I know against BC. I'm not gonna count Louisville because Louisville is trash. But Duke and BC, I noticed that when Trevor looks that one way, that's where he is going. So defense, USC defense. If you look at me right now, that is what is going to happen.
Keep in mind, this is Trevor Lawrence's biggest game of his life.
Yeah.
So we need to see how he's going to react as well.
Deshaun Watson not walking through that door.
now.
I'm not going to take nothing from Trevor Lawrence, by the way. Trevor Lawrence is a great QB, and I'm pretty sure he's going to be a great guy 2 or 3 years down the road before he goes to the NFL. I just know if you try to beat Trevor Lawrence and Clemson, you got to know what he is doing. And I know he does a one-way looker passer, and that's where he's going to go.
One thing that Clemson also likes to do a lot is on offense, they like to run the ball. That kind of gets their offense going.
ETN is a great one back.
And so they need Kinlaw. USC needs, I think Kinlaw had a really good game against Vanderbilt, if I'm not mistaken. They need him to have a game like that this week. Because otherwise, because I don't know if you noticed, but Travis Etienne got a little rattled at the beginning of last game against Duke. And there was some type of skirmish over there on the sideline, but he gets upset. So if you can get the rushing game, just go ahead.
I got a theory on that. I really believe, because it didn't make sense otherwise, I really believe they knew they could run it on Duke. Duke had a horrible run defense. The run defense worse than South Carolina's in terms of yards per carry. And so I think they knew they could run on Duke, and they were choosing to try to throw it when it got difficult to throw. And I think that frustrated ETN. Now, Dabo Swinney also, I mean, he said point blank a couple different times earlier this week that he thought Travis was not good in the first half. Thought he didn't run hard. Thought he didn't block well. He's just kind of going through the motions. And then it came out in the second half, and when they committed to run the ball, they ran it for like 200 yards. So I think that's another thing. If Clemson comes out and kind of pitter-patters around like they did in the first half against Duke, they had 195 yards, but they didn't establish anything. To me, that helps South Carolina, because South Carolina is going to have to probably come out and establish something.
So they got a chance.
There's a chance.
Yeah, it would take like 7 things to go wrong for Clemson, though. Like it would take legitimately like the perfect storm of like 7 different factors, which all could happen. But then South Carolina also has to be at its best.
Hey, Will.
And that's where I think you got a little bit of a problem.
Jake choking.
Hey, 5 seconds, Will. What's your prediction for Carolina and Clemson? What's your score?
I say 51-10. I don't know how South Carolina's going to score. I think it's ugly.
Write it down, Chris.
That's it.
51-10. Use on my good side, Will, till you say that score just now.
I'm done with you.
That's right.
All right, Will. We'll talk to you soon. If Carolina beats Clemson, we're going to call you and we'll be on your show. And I'm going to talk all kinds of trash. I promise.
Yes.
That's a promise right
Hey,
there.
well, I'll have all you guys on that. That'll be good. We'll do it in the studio. How about that?
I like that.
That was great, Qualt.
All right, Will. Talk to you soon. We'll be back, guys.
All right. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
I got 83 zip.
83 zip. Write that down. 51-10. I put 38 to 36.
2 years ago. He says it's pretty similar this year.
Matt,
What's your prediction?
Belton.
My prediction.
Actually, hold that thought. We'll wait till after we talk to Coach Fry.
Okay.
Oh, you gonna steal Coach Fry answer?
Yeah. I'm curious to know what he gonna say.
Coach Fry ain't gonna say that. Coach Fry gonna be like, well, you know, the U.S. he gonna talk about everything but the football game.
Asia Wilson.
Asia's the best thing for South Carolina.
We know, Coach. We saw her dancing too. We saw it.
How's she doing? Did she have a knee injury?
Overseas, I think so.
She had what?
A knee injury.
Hey, welcome back to the show, everybody. It's time for the shoot around. Chris has some things listed as for what we're gonna talk about today in shoot around. So what we got today, Chris?
All right, so get the simple stuff out of the way. Feds pulled up on Tekashi 6ix9ine, racketeering charges stemming from his involvement with some unsavory characters, few shootings that have happened. It's just not a good look. I'm not the biggest fan of his. I've never.
First of all, I never
liked
hear. I'm not a big fan of 6ix9ine, but Matt, are you? Yes.
I listen to him occasionally, but I didn't know. I'm not a big fan or anything.
Like everybody tried to tell him,
He has some good teeth.
this
though.
is gonna happen to you. Fat Joe said it to him. Charlamagne tried to talk to him. Ebro tried. Everybody tried to tell him, hey, this is not gonna end well.
Charlamagne tried to tell him twice. He was just on the Breakfast Club talking about he nearly escaped prison, and now they denied his bail, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, because the feds have a 93% close rate.
Yep.
So if they come to you, they already have the case.
Listen, I knew he was slow when they had him hemmed up. They had beat him down in front of his wife and his child. Had him hostage in his own house, and he got away with like one shoe in his boxers. And somebody had called the police for him. Like, and the next day you talking trash like nothing happened. Like, come on, dude.
Yeah, he liked to troll a lot, but this time might not end out too well.
I think he faces 32 years to life.
25 to life is one number, and I heard in 32.
What he was doing, I really wasn't paying attention.
Racketeering.
Oh yeah, you gone.
That's what I'm saying. If the feds come with you with a RICO case, it's a wrap.
I gotta say he has rainbow hair, and he's going to prison.
Oh, they got him in general population right now, bro.
That's gonna be a fun time for them inmates over there.
Or since he has a lot of money,
Yeah.
He's somebody commissary. So somebody, hey man, you need protection. I need that 10K a week.
Okay, he gonna protect him all right.
No, he gonna protect 10K. He is money.
Kevin Gates said that a lot of times in jail, the rappers and stuff get extorted. So that might be what happens.
You get it started.
They need that commissary, trust me.
Shout out Kevin Gates.
Shout out Kevin.
Shout out to the inmates. And the rainbow hair.
Hey, man,
a little bit of good news. Lil Jon has opened his second school in Ghana.
That's what's up.
I'm always here for education and the kids.
Yeah.
Then moving on, the NBA and United Masters have signed a deal for the digital music rights. So what's going to happen is United Masters has unsigned or young and up-and-coming artists. NBA is going to funnel their footage to them and let them add the music background to the commercials and things like that. So it's a win-win for everybody.
So it's pretty much like a highlight program.
In a sense.
The NBA commercials are great. Like, they do a really good job marketing their players and stuff.
Exactly.
Whoever does the video needs to get a big shout out.
Even
Like-
nowadays, like, you follow NBA Twitter, like, they'll, like, have the little updates that, like, 'cause I think one time in class I got, and it's like, such and such is playing, and like, aren't you looking forward to with a nice graphic? I was like, okay, I might watch it now.
Speaking of videos, this is off subject, but I'm glad you said that. Listen, whoever's doing Clemson's videos needs a raise. USC, let's take some lessons. Because if y'all show me what we're wearing this week again, this dude is just walking through the woods.
Battle armor.
Fam, I'm done with it. I don't ever want to see that again in my life. Ever.
Look,
I had to get that.
UC actually has stepped up their game over the years as for video and marketing production. I ain't gonna talk trash.
They can hire y'all.
Huh?
Y'all,
they
y'all
could.
for hire, right? Hey man, y'all hire my guys, man. Then I might be easy on you.
Listen,
We had a USC guy on the show now.
I mean, that's cool. I'm just saying.
Gary, I know you saw the video.
Gary don't like y'all.
Yeah, the video was awesome. I don't know what video you're talking about.
The video was awesome.
The video was awesome.
Now I know the problem.
He in the woods. What is he doing?
Now I know the problem. It's a generational gap.
It's a jungle out there. You got to get
they're
out
going
of
to
the
battle.
woods. They're going to
Every
battle.
video that UC has put out,
That's
has
what I'm
been-
saying. We will fight you.
He really said it's a
anywhere.
jungle out
Well,
there.
it's-
We will
I know-
fight you anywhere.
What's the game versus
We'll take you
Vanderbilt?
to the woods.
They went through the fair, so a fair game, fair
Tiger
thing,
versus chicken
boom.
in the
All right,
jungle. How's that going to work
moving
out for
along.
you?
What's the one with the water? Walk to the water. That's
No,
the season opener.
Moving along.
What game we playing in season opener?
It's Thanksgiving week, bro.
They walked to the water. Nah, never mind.
That was Coastal.
What's some of y'all favorite
Coastal.
Thanksgiving
Thank
foods?
you.
That was trash.
Water
Trying to avoid
theme.
that.
Coastal
Bruh.
Carolina
We're
beach.
trying to avoid that, bro. What's your favorite Thanksgiving foods or foods that you hate?
I hate cranberries.
Yeah. Who said that?
I did.
Yo, my G.
I really do hate cranberries.
You got to have the ocean spray jellied cranberry sauce in a can. It's got to be chilled for at least 24 hours and cut in 1-inch thick slices.
Extend
I got to have the macaroni and cheese and the yams together.
Together.
That creates a
Cut it.
perfect flavor marriage right
Yes,
there.
it is.
I do like that part, but the cranberries can stay in the can.
Nah, bro, you wild.
Nah, I'm good with that one.
This free food. Like y'all just just cook your own food in.
I mean, I'm just saying.
Y'all ain't none of y'all cooking talking about I
Actually,
don't like this.
If you go to Bojangles, they give away turkeys over there. Well, not give away, but they cook turkey for you and they give it to you.
Yo, you want a Bojangles turkey?
I want to see how it tastes. I'm curious to know. I gotta go to like 5 people's houses this
I'm cool.
Thanksgiving. I go to mine. I go to
Deep
yours.
fry
I
your
go
turkey.
to my
That's
dad's
the
side.
best way to
some
go.
cranberries.
Deep fried turkey. That's the best way to go.
High five, Bobby. Come on.
Deep fried is
Let's
good.
go.
That's what I'm talking
Cheesy
about.
fried smoke.
macaroni with the crust on top. To change your life. Trust me.
have
Shout out
Boy,
to mama.
you might let me cuss in this
It's got to
radio
have
show.
crust, but it's got to be done. Like, I hate people to just put crust on at the end like it's not.
Hey,
like,
it's
you
a
got
secret
crumbs
recipe.
up here. Like,
It's,
what we
it's
doing?
a secret recipe to the crust, but I can't tell y'all that on the air.
Give me one ingredient.
Cheese.
Really? Put it on
These
450
guys have
so
been
that's
bread free for 2 weeks, so they are
Oh yeah.
salivating about that Thanksgiving.
And if
meal.
they tell you to bring the ice or the drinks to the Thanksgiving event,
You can't cook.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Just know that.
don't
That's what they're
bring
trying to
nothing.
tell you without telling you, bro.
Hey, what can I bring to the table? Yeah, go bring some ice. Bring some ice.
Bring plates, rolls, stuff like that. You can't cook.
If y'all,
It's just that simple.
if y'all
Shout
don't
out
know,
to my aunt Sally, makes a great asparagus casserole, and my mom with the cherry pie.
asparagus
Okay.
casserole. Gotta love it.
All right, Rob. You do dressing or stuffing.
Yeah, which one is it? Dressing and stuffing?
It's got to be dressing in the South.
I like white elbow. A little bit more right there.
How about pumpkin pie?
No.
You say we was going
Commercial
to
break.
commercial.
We'll be back.
Listen.
Pumpkin pie. What's that pumpkin macaroni that UC tried to make?
Listen.
Like people make
That's
pie
another
is
strike
pumpkin-
against USC right there.
Pumpkin pie, sweet potato pie.
Sweet potato. What you mean?
Sweet potato.
Can you tell the difference?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Then that people can't cook. Whoever cooks them can't cook. Cause my mama make one, you can't tell the difference. Straight
Shout
up.
out to her. Then. I'm willing to try
Straight
it.
up.
It's loaded with brown sugar. Then.
Like a mug.
But
A brown sugar pie.
I'm with that too. I'm with it.
Brown sugar. You want some brown sugar pie, baby? What's in it, brown
I
sugar?
can't do pecan pie. I'm cool.
Y'all
on
so what's wrong with y'all? I can't
cool
do
on
it, man. If it's free and it's good, give it to me.
I need that red velvet cake.
I know how to make it from scratch. So what's up?
Yo, who got the best red velvet cake in Columbia, in your opinion?
Me?
Because I done the episodes for Food Tripping on it already. So
There's this place on 2 Notch that I really like.
Misha's.
I've heard of Misha's.
I think it's the Misha's. It's actually Speaker Naga's
Misha's.
mom. Yeah.
Misha Wilson.
Yeah, it's really good.
Misha, I told you. What did I tell y'all? Misha got the best red velvet, best cheesecake in the state.
What happened to the cake lady?
Oh, what's that? Sweet Temptation?
Yeah.
Straight
Oh,
out
she's
of
still kicking down there in Columbia.
Yeah, she moved, I think, downtown. She was in Gaston for the longest, but they moved.
Yeah, Sweet Temptations on Main Street.
Main Street.
North Main Bakery's pretty good too. I go there occasionally.
I hadn't tried them out. I'm always
Never,
willing
you
to
gotta
try
go there. Gotta go there. Gotta go there.
I'm with it.
Hey,
Anywhere that's got good food, I'm here.
welcome back to the show, everybody. Tyrese Coach Fry once again. He's still praying. He likes to pray on Tuesday night.
Listen, he praying for them Gamecocks this week.
Prediction time.
It is prediction time. So let's go ahead and get started with that. Also, once again, before we let y'all go, tonight. Tonight.
This has not been your night to talk, bruh.
It's cold outside. I gotta get my chapstick. You know, when this get dry, you can't really talk.
Okay.
You really can't. It's proven fact. See, I can't say proven. My bad. Hey, once again, follow us on social media on the Walk-Ons at Facebook and on Twitter, and find us on our podcast on iHeartRadio, Spotify, SoundCloud, Google Play, and iHeartRadio.
Everything on the side of the screens that you see on this border, we're
There
all
you go.
those places.
And there's 16 right there. What I'm missing? iHeartRadio, iTunes,
I don't want to say
iHeartRadio,
say nothing
SoundCloud,
wrong.
SoundCloud,
Spotify,
Google Play, Spotify,
Huh.
Apple Podcasts.
Apple pie?
Apple Podcasts. Not that Apple Pie.
Apple pie?
This guy right here. So what's everybody's predictions, man?
All right, so USC and Carolina predictions. Here we go. For me, like I said earlier, I know on paper, Clemson is better than Carolina. I'm not going to take away from their defense. I'm not going to take away from Trevor Lawrence. They both got a kicker on both sides. Offensively, ETN is a dangerous running back. He's speedy and all that good stuff. So on that side, I see Clemson doing good. For Carolina, offensively, we've been getting better. Defensively, I just hope that Mr. Robinson can send some blitzes. If he can send blitzes and secondary could be on point, we do have a shot. Because like I said, the last two games, Clemson has not faced an offensive team. If there was an offensive team that they have faced, it'd probably be a different scenario for both the teams that BC and Duke has faced Clemson.
Secondary's beat up though, and injuries.
Secondary's beat up, but I still believe in South Carolina. I don't care who they play. I always will predict South Carolina will win.
What's the prediction, man?
South Carolina, 38. Clemson, 36. That's my prediction.
Wow. I like it.
38.
I'm going to go next.
30, 36.
Yeah, Clemson
Keep
is
in mind, this is a rivalry.
Take your
That
time.
means this you can't count on paper. This is, the person, it's the ups and downs of football. I got Carolina, 34. Clemson, 27.
Oh, wow.
I like that prediction. That's even better prediction right there. That's better than my score.
Okay.
Gary?
I'm with you. You don't play the game on paper. So if they were coming out
Robert's having a
on
good time over
paper,
there.
Clemson should win this game by 30 points. But since we're not going to play it on paper and we're going to play it in the trenches, and Bentley's going to show these people, all of these critics,
Here you go.
who've been giving him a hard time all year long,
Come on now.
he's going to show them on Saturday. So I'm going with Mr. Garrett when he said 31-17. I'm calling that same score.
All right,
Okay.
all right, I'll go ahead and go. Now, I have been at Clemson. I've been at USC. In the USC, this is no slight. I like this, a fine institution. But I got Clemson winning at 17. I got Clemson 35, USC 17. I think USC gets a field goal.
All right, hold on.
We'll see what happens.
All right. I've seen these teams last couple of years. I don't see a whole lot changing with the Clemson defensive front dominating up front again this year. I like the Tigers 45-10. And let's keep in mind, Gary predicted Carolina 12-0 at the beginning of the year.
Okay.
Opie, what you got?
Your quarterback is not a difference maker in the clutch. He folds. Your offensive line is sometimes your receivers. Hey, it's my turn. I let y'all talk. It's my turn. Your receivers at best are mediocre. That's how I feel. Since y'all got something smart to say, and we will see. But it is a rivalry that does make a difference. So some guys gonna come to play. They're gonna feel a certain kind of way. So I do got to be in close in the beginning. But once again, like I said, talent defensively. What nobody has talked about that always gets South Carolina in trouble is can they control their mental? Can they control their emotions, which they have in the big games? And I think that's when a flag, somebody gets a sportsmanlike conduct, and it goes out there. So I got them 17-40.
Coach Fry, it's good to hear you, man.
Yes, sir.
So
And I listen to all these crazy scores.
I was gonna say 100 to nothing.
you know how Obi is, Coach Fry. But
Hey, you get to put up 5 now. You might get a chance to put up a 5 now. I've done flash 5 for the last 4 years. So now's the time.
So, Coach Wright, so tell me, we got 2 things to ask you right quick because I know we're getting close to the end of the show. So, first of all, tell me what you thought about the USC game on this past Sunday versus Maryland.
USC versus Maryland.
Women's basketball.
Oh, Lord Jesus.
We're in the middle of it's just a Asia recovery right now, and people are trying to take it out. I think we got a Maryland transfer a year or so ago. So what I think about it, that we'll be there at the end of the year and we'll play Maryland again. We'll play them in Sweet 16.
And don't forget, we've got to play better too, so we can avenge in a top 10 win. So if we get better down the road, we can play better and beat them and be back on a respective pattern from there. So,
but how soon we forget, ain't it?
Yeah, and that's
we
all.
win a national championship, we get to a Final Four, and then all of a sudden it's like doom. Hey.
Well, hey, Coach, so Carolina Clemson, don't remind them of the music because that always happens when we talk to Coach Fry. We talk to them past the end of the show, so that always happens. So, Coach Fry, Carolina plays Clemson on Saturday. It's Jay Bentley versus Trevor Lawrence. And a lot of people is saying that Clemson is pretty much dominant in their defense. And then Carolina, they get better offensively. What do you see about this, excuse me, about this weekend's game?
Hey, what was the Duke score?
What was the what?
The Duke score.
35-6.
Well, I'm going to tell you what, Carolina, we are 3 touchdowns better than Duke.
Thank you. See, somebody else sees it too, Bellum.
Wow.
Because first of all, like I said, offensively, we are better than the last 2 teams that Clemson has faced.
Duke,
we can
Duke did beat Northwestern, Big Ten West champ.
I'm just we 3 touchdowns better than Duke. Duke in ACC. I don't even care who they play against. They can beat Northwestern. That league ain't said nothing there either. Heck, Ohio State like they got beat by Maryland. And heck, Purdue beat Ohio State. So that ain't football.
Gotcha. What's your score prediction for Saturday?
It's gonna be 25-35, or what's 3 touchdowns? We're 21.
21, yeah.
21, and they're gonna score 10 points ahead of us.
So you say Clemson will win? That's what you're saying.
31-21.
I mean, 10 points better at home.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cover the spread, though.
I can respect that. 31-21.
But it ain't gonna be no 26-point win.
Mm-hmm. I know for me, I said 38-36 Carolina. I think Carolina can at least try to do something. If Carolina wins, I believe me, I'm going to talk all kinds of trash like never before. I promise you.
It's just that thing becomes how good is it's not how good is Clemson's defensive line. It's how good is Clemson's offensive line. Because basically, when did they play against the offensive line?
True.
I know we'll beat Syracuse.
True. I know it'll be Duke and BC.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
All right.
So our kids are beat up a little bit in the secondary, and Clemson can flat out throw the football. That little boy they got playing can flat throw it.
Yeah.
And there's no question. He the difference in the football game and the offensive line. Can they play? Or do we put something together? Do we have a package together and say, okay, can you get the ball off? The heck with it. Let our little boys get burned.
Oh, yeah, we got burnt plenty of times this year, so we should be used to it by now. All right, Coach.
Basically, I hadn't seen him throw them upfield. I see him. This is some little square ends that give you trouble.
Gotcha.
But
all right, well, Coach, we'll talk to you again next Tuesday. Actually, we won't be here next Tuesday, by the way. We're going to be on break. So the Tuesday after, we might try to do something on Instagram story to recap if Carolina beats Clemson or Clemson beats Carolina. So make sure you stay tuned for that on our Instagram page at the Walk-Ons Radio and also on Twitter and Facebook.
When we beat Clemson, you're not going to have to be on the radio.
Really? Why you say that?
Hey, because I'm gonna be loud all in the street.
I'll be right there with you, right there in the Vista. I'm pretty sure, or the 5 Points area. That's where all the parties will be at. All right, Coach.
Hey, high school football, you guys keep it going. And tell his kids to make grades, and we got to talk more about it because the high school coaches don't know how to get people's transcripts ready to go. Right. We got to get on that. That's the big thing. No, they don't. Hey, let's keep it real.
Keep it real, Coach. All right, everybody. For everybody on the table, Opie, Chris, myself, Gary, Robbie,
enjoyed it,
Belton, and Matt. We would like it. Not to thank everybody. Excuse me, I still try to get over this stuff.
Nah, man, you just can't talk your word stuff.
We will see y'all the Tuesday after of our
2
break.
weeks from today.
We'll see you in
2 weeks
December.
from today. Yeah, see you in December. And